So I figure why not do a live video of me installing this Jesse Dean tonearm. So I don't know how great this is going to look. Can't really zoom in or zoom out with this camera. So I wish I could, but I can't. Apparently I can't. So anyway, we're just going to go with what we got. Okay. So I already took it apart. There's screws on the bottom. You just open it up. So I'm gonna do this step by step, just like Jesse suggests. So anyway, he wants you to remove 3 screws. So there's one here, and this one down here. It's probably for the wire because it's tucked in there. So anyway, what I'm going to do, oh hey, what's up? I need to desolder these wires anyway, so there's 3 little points, contact points here. This is where the tonearm is, 2, 3. So I'm just going to desolder those wires right now. So again, using the Pro Wick, the desoldering braid, we'll see how much of this I can pull off of here. Clean the tip of the soldering iron. Put some solder on. I don't know how long this is going to take me, because like I said, I haven't done this before, so we're kind of learning together. So we're just going to put a little bit of heat. Sometimes you can actually get a little bit of solder and add the solder, and that kind of helps it grab, just like that. Let's see how good this works. Now my solder vacuum really won't work too well on this. Then again, it might. I don't know. But you know, because the tip that I have on that is for like 1 millimeter, and these are a little bit bigger than that. So we're gonna do this the old school way, I guess. So that looks pretty good so far. That's one off. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'll plug it in, we'll see. But while I'm waiting on that, it's on to the next. We're going to cut off some of this and just take off all that old stuff. I'm expecting it to fall in there. Okay, like I said, I'm trying to get the best angles that I can without getting in my own way and knocking this phone about. Okay, so maybe you can see these little tabs right here. It's 1, 2, 3, those left, right, and ground. But I figure I just desolder these now while I have it. Where I need it. So that came off pretty easy compared to the first one. You know, when you're using a soldering iron, you always want to make sure, you know, that you're out of the way of hitting anything else, any wires, because these things get pretty hot, you know, so they'll just melt. Okay, a little bit more solder on the tip here, because like I said, that helps get the other old solder off. Okay, so that's that. So back to Jesse's instructions here. Got to remove 3 screws. So, oops, 1. And when you take these screws off, it actually tells you where they go. There's little markings here that tell you exactly where the screws go. And there's 2. I honestly probably won't even have to take off the 3rd one. I should be able to just pull this. So now you're gonna see, well, you probably won't see, but underneath all of this, that's where the rain fader is that I put, you know, I put a little tape there just to kind of block it off in case, you know, I don't want anything shorting out, even though there's really nothing there. If you look on this side, you're going to be able to see the tone arm wires are right there. So you have red, black, and white, and they are marked on there as well. You have R, see that? Then G and L, and it's an input, of course, because it's the input of a line. So let's pull those wires out of there. There's the red gone. Okay, these don't want to come out. That's alright. That's when we hit them with a little more solder. Or heat anyway. And then make them come out. And if that doesn't work, then you can always just grab some scissors and cut the wire as well. Then you'll be able to, oh, don't fall on me. You'll be able to grab the wires from the other side. Sorry that I can't really zoom in with this, but you can actually see this wire. Well, you might not be able to. See, it just comes out. So it is not hooked to anything. Ah, don't burn yourself. That was close. Just gotta be careful. See, this is probably not gonna do anything now. Hot enough, but let's see what happens. Solder vacuum. Oops, thing is awesome. Okay, so those are gone. Out. That was step 1, is to take the screws out. Step 2, take the screws out of the board. Step 3, to desolder the original tone arm wires. Step 4, cut plug off of one side of the connection wire provided. Okay, so that's this wire right Yeah. Boom. Okay. So we need to cut one side off of that. Hi, doing a live video. So we're just gonna cut this off right quick. One, two, three. 3 wires, okay? So now what we need to do is we need to strip these wires and then we're gonna tin them. So there's my wire strippers. Everything up here's a mess. I was in the process of cleaning everything up, but then these came in. Oh, come on. Of course. There we go. So we're going to take the wire strippers and cut just a little tiny bit of this off, kind of like that. Same with this one. Same with this one. Okay, and then what we need to do is we need to tin these wires, which basically means we gotta just put some solder on the tips. So I'll try and show you guys that. It's gonna be really interesting to try to do this. God. See if you can see the solder here. And then we're just gonna heat it up. Maybe in the tip here, maybe that'll help. There we go. 1, 2, 3. So there you go. Now, all of these wires actually have different markings on them. One is like little lines going through, broken lines. One is got some X's that's in the middle, and then one is just a straight red line going through. And those are all pretty much signify something as we move later. So where's this going? Solder tin leads to control board. Okay. Where the heck is that going? That is not. So now I gotta figure out where that's at. I'm gonna have to remove this. Hopefully my other work is not gonna get in the way of this. Okay. So that's what that is. Gosh, I can zoom in on these pictures. So that's your 3 leads, okay. So that's the 3 pins. So it does look like this is going to get in the way. I'm not sure where exactly he's hooking up to here. 1, 2, and 3. This. Let's see, nobody's even watching anymore. That's cool. Alright. It's definitely not coming off of that. Right. Ground, I really wish you would have. More here. Yeah, 6. Where's that? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 3? That's 1. And we got 1, 2, 3, right? So right. There we go, right. Left. Right. Ground is in the middle. It's these 3. But it doesn't look like he's pulling off of those 3, so he's going right, left, and then ground in the middle. Okay. That's interesting. But I see it now because there's those 3. Wow, that's going to be cutting it close for me. What is that? Yeah, that is the left. So you know what? I could actually just go off of these 3 pins here. But I know the reason why he did that way, because it actually has some space in between. But if you look on the other side, you're going to see an input on this side. And you'll see right, ground, and left right there. So those 3 are here. Right, ground, left. Okay. So we can actually just go off of those wire contacts as well, or you can follow Jesse's design. Let's see here. That picture really doesn't give me much on which wire goes where, so I'm going to have to try and decipher this myself. Okay, so by the speaker, that's probably why he wants you to put this there, which is going to be kind of an issue for me. I don't know, maybe I'll be able to get it to fit. But, so this is going to go there, like this. How does he have this wired up? So he's got it turned. Oh, I guess that'll, oh, duh. Well, I might as well just look this way. On the board, this is what's going to tell me. Okay, so right is going to be your just straight line. Ground is the X, of course, and then left is your broken red line there. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this. So right is the red line. So that's where we're going to go with this. So we're going to go right here on the top, and like I said, the way Jesse has it, he's going off the jumper, which is also cool. But for me, I really can't do that because I got some extra wires in the way. So I'm going to have to improvise. Sorry guys, like I said, this is kind of the way. So we're gonna go right, which is your solid red wire there. Okay, and that is your right contact here. He's got it soldered here, which I get. So you know what, let's just follow his directions so it doesn't get messy. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut these leads just a little bit, just so that there's nothing hanging off. Okay, I'm gonna strip those wires a little bit more there. So, I mean, not strip them, but just separate them a little bit more. I'm gonna grab a little bit of solder, clean this tip, just so that, get some solder on there, so that'll hold. So he's going like so. Man, I got this is a mess. Okay, so we're gonna go right is right here. Okay, so we're gonna go right off of where he suggests, and it will just make it easier to solder onto. Just kind of touch there and it grabs. I mean, you really don't have to put too much pressure or anything like that. It just grabs on and bam, you're set. I want a little bit more solder just to make sure it's a good connection. There we go. Good. Covered. Okay, so your middle is your ground right here, so we can just basically take this solder, push this against here like this, and I hope you guys can see this, and then we're just gonna touch the outside here and it will get liquid melt just like that. Okay, that one's on. My last one is my left, and that's really close to these wires here. You know, it's kind of gonna be hard for me to hit on that spot there. So if you look at this, Jesse has it to where you're going to solder onto that contact right there, but these two contacts are on the same trace. So, but my other wires for the potentiometer are kind of in the way, so I'm just going to solder directly to this one instead of this one down here, because it's just going to make it a little bit more easy for me, and I'm not going to disturb my wiring as far as for my work that I did. So you can go to whichever contact you feel is more comfortable for you. For me right now, this is the more comfortable one. And I just touch this like this. Like I said, it's going to turn to liquid. And boom. Just like that. You need to make sure that none of your solder is touching any of the other solder joints. Like right here, it looks like I have a little bit that is. So we need to break that solder joint. Not break it, but the here in the middle where it's bridging, you don't want that. That's bad news. And that's why Jesse suggests that you do it the other way, just because, you know, you have less chance of bridging like that. But as of now, everything looks good. All my contacts are on there. So there's that, and that was, oh, sorry, That was step 6. So let's move on to step 7. So install the preamp and screw back onto the board. So that is why he wants you to remove this screw right here, okay? So let's see if this is going to work for me, because once again, my wires are kind of in the way from previous work. So let's see if this won't get in the way of my shielded wire. So it looks like he kind of has it just like here, and I can probably tuck this like that, bring that like that, okay, and then we can put this in here, this original screw, boom. Put that screw in. I'm not sure who's watching me right now, but hey, thanks for sticking with me here. I know these can get kind of long and drawn out, but if you're a geek like me and you like to see how all this stuff is done, then I'm sure you're still interested. Anyway, next step. Oh, so now I gotta clip this wire here, and this is for power. So I'm gonna have to pull power. Solder power leads to power board. Okay, so let's see here. So I need to cut this wire now. That's okay, not a problem. And I'm gonna cut for power. It's gonna want me to tack off of these two down here, which I'll move the camera down. That's gonna be interesting. Why? Because I already have 2 wires connected to that. So let's see. I should be able to do this. Right? Don't worry about it. You got enough experience here with wiring. You can do this. So we're going to cut those wires. We're going to need to strip and tin these as well, just like you did the last ones. Strip it. Strip it. We haven't even gotten to the fun part of taking the old tonearm out yet. Okay, so those wires are exposed now. Now we just need to tin them. Typically what I like to do is spin the wire just so that it's a little more firm. Okay, so now that I have those wires kind of sticking out, clean this tip here, and oops. Come on. There we go. We just put a little solder on those tips. So heat it up, and then just touch it, bam. And then just touch the wire, bam. And that's that. So now we need to solder those leads to down here on this board, where the positive and the negative hit. So these 2 contacts here, let me move this wire out of the way. And you're not going to have all these wires, you know, this is just because of all my previous work that I've done. So where the 2 yellow wires are on the top, that's your positive. Down here where the black is your negative. This is a very small, delicate spot to solder to, so you got to be really careful here, especially with this. So what I will probably try to do is kind of slide that wire in kind of right here, and then just use a little bit of solder to just so that it'll grab, you know. I'm just going to try to sneak it in there, and yeah. So let's see how well that works. So we're just going to slide this in. Hopefully you can see this. Slide that wire in like that. You notice how I cut the wire, but I left enough, you know what I mean? So it's still long enough. And then we're just going to kind of touch it. Way too much stuff in my way. And that's that. So that one is on. Now, for the fun one, the negative, which is down here. Let's see if I can do that. And you won't have all these issues with all these extra wires unless you did the modification like I did. So anyway, just put it here, kind of try to slide it. Keep the wires, like I said, and the contacts away from each other, because you don't want, especially here, this is the power, you don't want those two contacts to bridge, and you know, because once you try to turn it on, it's just gonna short out, or you could possibly burn out the whole unit. And we definitely don't want that, so that's what I'm gonna do. So there you go, being a little smarter. I'm gonna sneak it underneath these wires here, and let's see if I can just touch. And that is on as well. Kind of give it a little pull, nothing major, just enough to see if it's on there. That's good contact there. So yeah, awesome to be able to get that out of the way. There, there. Okay, so let's move on to step 10. Now what am I loosening? Desolder small ground wire from this board, which is this contact here. So I gotta take that off. Okay. Well, let's see how well the solder vacuum works on this. I don't know how well it's gonna work because, you know, not too bad, I guess. Whoops. So it's right here. So we have to remove that. Just trying to get as much solder off this as possible. Come on, let go. There we go. Okay. Desolder small ground wire. Loosen lock screw and remove. Okay, so now we're removing this ground wire here, which is the ground wire for the tone arm. Okay, so that's what we're doing with this. There we go. See how it just came out when I pulled? So, not bad. I also believe there's another ground wire in there too. So, but all we're trying to remove is this wire, the really thin wire. So now what we have to do is we have to remove the lock screw here. So that is step 11. So we got to take this screw off of here. So finally we're getting to the fun part. Let's see if I can get this sucker off of here. Holy cow. That is on there. Sorry for moving this, but I gotta get some space here. So it's probably gonna be kind of difficult to remove. It looks like they have some type of Loctite or something on there. So probably going to be more difficult to get off than I imagined. So this is going to be interesting. So I want to get the right angle here. There's a lot going on right here. Plus all my wires. So let's see here. Maybe I could do it with my left hand. There we go. Paste to teach bar. Use both hands, I guess, huh? When you're scratching. Ambidextrous style. Okay, so now we just need to remove this. I really didn't say anything about pulling these wires, but I guess that's the next thing. So we got this out of the way, the E-clip, or I'm sorry, the lock clip. Now, if you look inside here, you're going to see there's a little E-clip here, so you're going to need to remove that. Typically, the easiest way to remove one of those is just to get a flathead screwdriver, kind of like so. Sorry for the shadow. Put it in like this, and then just kind of give it a little nudge. See, and it just comes right off. So hold on to that E-clip because you're definitely going to need that. So put that somewhere where you won't lose it. So that was step 12, removing the E-clip. So 13. Now we have to flip this bad boy over to pull the tone arm from the top, so let's do that. So let's flip this guy over. Sorry. Open this up. Get that out of the way. Alright. So long tone arm, our hair tie mod here. Okay, I won't need that anymore, but for those of you that are still using it, hopefully it's helping you guys out. Okay, so now from here, all we have to do is pull this out, and it should just come straight out. Clear the rest of this wire here. Whoa. What else is this grabbing on? Ah, there we go. So pull that through. Tone arm out completely. Hold on to all these parts. It's a little fabric washer, I guess. Okay, so now the tone arm is completely released, and there's a spring on there. I don't know if we're going to need to reuse that spring, but anyway, I guess it's time to feed in the Jesse Dean tone arm. So that's sweet. Let's do that. So first of all, we're going to have to take this little nut off of here, which isn't tight anyway, so it'll just come right off. Okay. Then we're just going to have to fish this through this wire. So hopefully you can see this. There's a hole right there. We're going to need to fish that through. Okay. So maybe I can just turn this over. And we'll move this. Like I said, sure, for those of y'all who still want to do this to your vestax and whatnot, I figure I'd do this. So there's the hole right there. We're going to just basically feed that through just like that. Okay, then it'll fit right in just like that. Okay, that's step 14. Step 15, we need to put the E-clip back on. So that's this guy right here. Remember the E-clip that we took off? We got to put that back on. So let's flip this back around. I'm surprised there's nothing on here. Nothing, no spring, no nothing. So that's cool. That's 15 to 16, okay. So that's definitely gonna try to slide out of there. Okay. So, oh, here's your tone arm. There. Damn fly. Okay, hopefully you can see this. I'm still trying to get the best angle here. That's not gonna work. How's that? Now you can see that. Okay, so we need to take this E-clip and put it back on here. This is what's going to hold the tone arm in place. Easiest way to do this is with some needle nose pliers, like so. And then you're just gonna kind of grab on one side, the other side. Oh, magnetic, I see. Like this. There's a little groove that you're gonna see right here, and that's where that E-clip is going to grab once I put it in the right spot. And all this information is on Jesse Dean's website as well, so you can go to jessedeancustoms.com. And as I said, all of this stuff is on his website, so that's basically what I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of looking off of his site and going step by step. And that's almost all the way on there, so let's try. There we go. You know, a little pop there. That means it's on. Okay. So now that we got that in, that was step 15. Moving to 16. 16 is to attach these wires to the preamp, which are these little connections here. So you're going to need a very small flathead to loosen these screws up here at the top. Just enough to where these wires will slide in. Okay. So we have red is your right, white is your left, and of course the wire that is not covered with rubber is your ground. So let your middle. And my fiance's home. Hi!
Hi.
Doing a live video.
Uh-oh.
It's okay, not a big deal.
So I don't need to crash it then.
It's alright. No problem. This wire seems like it's a bit long, so I'm gonna cut these wires real quick. So that one already looks shorter. So it's gonna go red, ground, white. Okay. And this is the funnest part. Getting all of these wires in at the same time. And making sure they're all in. There we go. Cool. Now we can just screw this down. 1, 2. Oops. 3. Oh, see, that white wire did not go in. It actually, as I said, this is the most difficult part. Optical illusion on me, I guess. So I'm going to take this wire with the needle nose and try to fish it in there. There we go. Let's turn this. Oh, you little jerk. I don't know why this is always like, of all the things with these Jesse D tone arms, this is always the most difficult part for me, and it shouldn't even be. This is like one of the easier things that you're supposed to be able to do with this. And for some reason, with me, this is the hardest part. See? It's freaking hilarious. Tightening this down. You son of a gun. Why? It's always the hardest part for me. Anyway, hopefully you don't have this issue. Okay. So I'm going to loosen that up a little more and try screwing this in. And it might be because the wire's too short. I'm about to just solder these in. The contacts. I swear. I don't know why this is always the hardest part for me. And it should be the easiest part. Just getting these wires into this these little contacts here for the screws. No, it's just Yeah. Something that should have taken me a few seconds. Yeah, a minute at the most. Yeah. There we go. Damn. Okay. Okay, so there's that. You can give them just a little tiny pull. Okay, if the magnet allows you to, just to give it just a little pull, just so that you can see all of these are in there the right way. Yeah, and so they're in there. That's good. We'll test it though too once we get it all together. So anyway, that's done. So that was step 16, and that's the final step. That's it, aside from putting the cartridge on there. So it's actually not too bad. I wonder, yeah, he doesn't say anything about putting this back on, though. The washer, or I mean the nut that goes over the top, he don't say nothing about that, but maybe it's just this E-clip that holds it in place, so you really don't need this. So anyway, we'll hold on to it just in case for later on. Other than that, I'm sure you guys should know how to mount a needle on a tone arm. But let's put those other screws back in place, if I didn't lose them. Remember I said, don't put your screws in a place you're not going to lose them. Okay, so let's push all this back down. Should look at this though. Everything on that is right. So anyway, let's get this all back in order. Make sure that's not tucked in. Make sure all these wires are where they need to be. Everything's out of the way. Pinching anything. What it appears that I'm doing here. Make sure everything's out of the way of these screw holes. Okay. So put this screw back. Maybe. Damn flies, man. Got flies in here. Okay, one. Let's get this one back in. Two. Right here. Just screw back in. Then you're just going to plug this in here. It'll only go in one way. Just like that. Another wire to have to tuck there, that wire. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell, I suppose. Not too bad of an install. And yeah, I mean, the hardest part's going to be, of course, soldering these contacts onto the board here. And that's pretty much it. That's going to be the hardest part. So flip this over. You can see, maybe you can't see, now you can see the tone arm is in place. Guess the only thing you're really going to lose is the ability to lock the needle in place. So I'm gonna have to figure out something on that to keep the tone arm from sliding around in there and whatnot. Other than that, I'm going to have to mount this needle, and I'm going to have to pull this wire through a little bit because it's way too long here, but maybe I'll do that when I'm done. So anyway, we're going to put the Sure on here, the M447. Let's pull the needle out. This also comes with its own screws, so you can mount the M447. It's all color coded on the back. Same with the wires here, they're color coded, so you'll know exactly where they go. So green goes to green, blue to blue, red to red, white to white, which is going to be the silver one here at the bottom. So let's see here. Green. Blue. Red. And white. Perfect. And then you'll just mount it. This head shell is a lot different than the original head shell. The other head shell was made out of the carbon fiber. This one is actually metal. So that's kind of cool. That's a difference between the two. Now I need to figure out where I'm going to mount this, most likely right at the edge here. And I don't have a weight. These used to come, there we go. So we want to put the weight on here too. These come with the Stanton needle. I was about to say, where the heck is my... It's like a 4 gram weight, I think. So that will go to the front, like that. Two Jesse Dean screws. Oh, thanks, man. There's that. Put these through here, and I think I'm going to put these right at the top here. And just like that. This is always the fun part with any tone arm. Mounting the needle. You know what I'm also going to need? with straight arms, you don't have to kick the needle to the side or anything like that, because that's what kicking the needle to the side like that is supposed to mimic, is a straight arm tone arm. So it's already on a straight arm, you don't need to kick your needle to the side. So let's see here, how am I going to do this? Maybe I'll do these from the bottom. This might be easier. So this was always the fun part of mounting a Shure needle. These 447s. So there we go. Perfect. Little washers on top. Now the nuts. Got yourself a tonearm. Okay, so that's that. Finished. So I'm just going to button all of this up now, and then I'll do another video once I got it all buttoned up. So, but that's how you mount one of these Jesse Dean tone arms into a Vestax handy track. So hopefully that video will help you guys out. So I'm gonna end it for now. Peace.